Hello, everyone. It's been a very long time since I've been doing a video in English, so I hope I'm not gonna be so rusty. I don't know if I can say that in French. That means like I'm getting not very good at something because that's been a very long time. But anyway, hope you guys are doing well. This is gonna be a video about the game, the tabletop simulator version. I'll be doing the latest version of it. I'm gonna show you also all the changes on the rulebook, and yeah, so there's a lot to cover. Hopefully, that won't be too long video, but as usual, these can be very long. But anyway, so yeah, so let's just jump in. Okay, so we're here on the tabletop simulator version. So I'm gonna jump right in on the rule books, and I'll try to just place them so we can actually see both pages, because usually in the physical copy you will just like open them. So I'll have to like switch over and over here, but I'm not gonna cover like every new stuff. Just to be clear, I'm not gonna cover any new stuff on the game. I wish that you discover some new stuff while playing the game after supporting the project. By the way, this project will be live around mid October. So the date has already changes. I was planning for September, but actually, I will be father of my second daughter around early October. So hope everything goes well, but I won't be doing the Kickstarter around this time because, of course, I will have a new kid that I'll need to take care of. But yeah, so I'm planning mid October this year. And like you will see, pretty much everything is already completed. There's no more image that need to be done. Some might need some fixes, I don't know, but maybe you will be able to tell me. But overall, everything is pretty much completed. I wanted to complete the rulebook that we have and take a look right now. Uh, to be able to, you know, when the campaign is running, that I can just like show you this. This is gonna be the final rule book. It's not like the previous one that was missing a bunch of stuff. So hopefully, I'm gonna cover everything and won't miss anything. If you think you discovered a typo or there's missing some things, please let me know in the comments. So let's jump right in. So when you will open the book, that's going to be the first thing that you will get. So there's a game overview that wasn't there before. There was a small one, but that was really just to explain you a little bit more about the overall concept. But now we're diving deeper. So I'm going to read it to you. Hopefully my English won't be that bad. So play as one of 6 legendary heroes and dive into the darkness of a dungeon. You'll need to manage your action points, your cards in hands, your perception, the game's central mechanic, and build your hero strategically in order to survive until you face the terrible demon lurking within. However, each level of the dungeon will bring new hordes of bloody thirsty monsters. You'll need to use whatever you can get your hands on to improve your chance of survival. Each game is played in rounds, alternating between player turns, two player turns in if in co-op, and enemy turns. Hellbringer, your character's progression will be felt with each monster elimination. You'll be able to increase your resistance, your strike force, or even your perception. There's no point in being the strongest and thoughtest if you can't see the enemy in front of you. Get ready to roll a bunch of dice and feel your power grow. But keep an eye on your enemies, your life depends on it. So that's pretty much like how Hellbringer in like the game overview. You'll know that you roll a bunch of dice that you will try to build your hero with cards and stuff like that. So I really try to make people understand more about what's gonna happen with the game. All right, let's let's get it on. So these this is gonna be the next pages. So I think I'm just yeah I'm gonna put that here. So here is the content and preparation. So there was, like I told on the previous video, I was actually looking at the French version of the game. I just wanted to make people, know that I'm still alive and still working on a project. But now that is all in English, that's going to be much more easier for you guys to just see a little bit more clearly what are the changes. So we're gonna start over here. So these are all the components of the game, of course, but here's the twist. You will also be preparing all the stuff. So we're gonna start with the enemy board. So you will assemble according to the number of players, and you can see in I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but the parenthesis, I don't know how to spell it right. But you can see at the page 8 all the information. So there's a bunch of plays on the rule book that I will now refer to this page. So I tried at the very beginning to not do that, but I think now it's just more useful. Anyway, so 2, each player takes a board, assemble both sections, and take a marker, which they place in front of them. Dice. Place them within easy reach of everyone. The enemy dice. The enemy die is placed within easy reach of the enemy board. We've got the rulebook, the campaign booklet, the active token player that is green because the color green, if you remember from this page over here, will always refer to the co-op. So if you're playing in solo, that's going to be always white. And if you're playing in co-op, that's going to be the green color. So, and the white, of course, but yeah, All right, so the tracking sheet. And finally, the playing cards, which is actually pretty important here. So a lot of player actually told me that they didn't know how to sort the game when opening the box for the first time. They were like, there's so many cards, there's a lot of different types, and I don't know how to sort them. So to fix that, I've actually explained what to do with these. So separate starter cards and perks by class. So here you can see clearly that there's 6 class, there's 3 perks and 2 starter cards uh, per class. So these are all for one class here. Uh, Group the remaining cards into separate piles based on the icons on the front of each card to create a total of 7 piles. So there's going to be your 6 piles over here, plus this one over here, which is the common cards. So the common cards will include the skill cards, items, enchantment, companions, defense, and potions. So all these cards are one pile, and the others are the other piles. Leave unmentioned piles cards in the box. And that's it. So just by that, you're now preparing the game, sorting all these things, and just understand which is what is what. So next be these. So here is the game setup. So not a really not that much change over here, uh, except like maybe some explanation over here. I think it's here. I don't remember quite. Yeah, no. I think it's here. Yep, we're here. So the big change is that for a quick game, it is now noted that the starter elixir is always available, and also that you can decide to choose a second starter card uh, from your class by removing one card in hand, and only perk 1 and 2 are unlocked. So this is really important information because on the previous version, uh, nothing of that was written there. So the meaning for that is that on the new expansion, there's going to be a total of 3 starter cards. So now with that, you'll be able to create some combos. That will also impact the campaign because one of the bonuses that you could unlock was, I think it's planning, and you could select like the second starter card from your class, but sometimes some of them were actually useless because like you were playing the warrior and he starts with like uh, two items, so you can't equip both. So that was pretty useless. But now there's going to be a third card, and now there's going to be, for example, for the warrior, there's going to be a skill. So now it can be really useful uh, to start with it. So yeah, so that's the pretty big change. I'm going to show you the cards in a few seconds when I will prepare for a game. After that, we've got the information over here, so that's pretty normal. Nothing really changed here except for these information at the very bottom. So you've got the placement overview. This is really important, and I think this really explains everything that needs to be in place before you start. So first, you can clearly see that this over here is what it should look when you are ready to play a game. So at the end of the game setup, 3 starter monster over here are revealed and placed on the enemy board by the effect of the graveyard card. So you notice that you will place these monster because the graveyard card. Each player have a total of 5 cards in hands and their stats written on their player board. So this should look like that. If the starting elixir card is unlocked, or if playing a quick game, a player may have 6 cards in hand. So, uh, that's pretty normal stuff here, but that wasn't there at the first version. So, I think that's going to help a lot. And finally, remaining cards are returned inside the box. That's it. All right, let's move on to the next one. So here is the game round. So nothing really changed here. I think like some formulation of the text might have changed. Well, actually, pretty much everything changed on the formulation just to be more clear. But overall, the information is remaining is actually pretty much identical. So I don't have like anything to point out here. After that, we're gonna have a game round example and how to read cards. So the game round example is quite early into the rule book, but I wanted to place it just after a game round because I feel like that's the best place. But if you read that, you might not understand exactly how it works because you didn't read like the mechanics of the game and all the other stuff that you need to know. So there's a note here. It is recommended to have read all the rule book before reading this example. So this is why it's been added there. So, but yeah, you can clearly see like I've added some lines to help uh, and understand where are the information. So, oh, I think yeah, I'm seeing like some misplaced lines, so I'm just gonna have to fix them later. And yeah, so that's that's pretty it for the gamer example. Here is the how to read cards. So there was one missing. That was the yellow one, which is the enchantment. So I've been adding it back, and also I've added a bunch of information here, which is the card identification code over here, and also the number 8, which is the effect reminder, the enchantment slot, but also the expansion symbol represented by a dot. So this wasn't there, so hopefully you can now spot it. Move on to the player board and the attributes. So I've added this little card over here to uh, the example of the attributes of the warrior. Um, Nothing else much here. We've got the connection point, which is the equip item. So I've changed the how it's called, the keywords. So I was actually referring to like the runes, but I've decided to just go with the colors. I think this was like uh, quite confusing to just use the runes because there's other stuff that could be runes into the game. So I feel like let's just use like the colors. After that, we've got the enemy board. So this here, this example of the site has been a little bit changed. Actually, there was a monster that had no site at all, and we were in the hell section, I think. So that was like a 3+0. That gave a total of 3. So that wasn't a really good example. So I've changed both cards. So I think now it's a bit better. But yeah, after that, we've got the type of cards. So just before I continue with the type of card, you might notice that the order of all the pages has been slightly altered. Uh, I think the new uh, order is much more natural. So I feel like eventually you get to the information that you need to know. Uh, but first, you have all the information to set up the game, know what is what, and etc. So yeah. So let's continue with the type of card. So here there's been quite some change, but nothing to really point out. But yeah, there's been some information here that that has been changed, just so you understand a little bit more uh, what the cards are. So I think in the previous version it was more like, hey, these cards can be found here, and it was like that's not enough information about what this card does. So hopefully that's gonna be a bit better. Like for the perks, there wasn't so much information for them. Just for example. All right, let's continue with the card subcategory. Nothing really changed here, and the dice. Um, yeah, nothing here too. The order of the information has been changed a little bit. Just for example, let's take the companion hit. So all enemy attacks are combined and their dice rolled. The ability of each enemy in play is applied to the companions to the attacked player. The companions of the attacked player then suffer the total result of these dice. So I don't remember exactly what it was before, but now you have to roll the dice and then apply the effect. On the previous way to explain how it was working, I think I was like mentioning like you need to roll the dice after applying the effects, and I think that was a little bit confusing because you could roll your dice and then calculate all the stuff after the effect is applied, but then you've got like a defense card and you're like, when can I apply it? So with that order change, I think it will be more natural to just like, okay, you roll the dice, here's the result. Now apply the effect and the damage, and now you will be able to play your defense card more not efficiently, but you know, just playing the card when you feel that is right. Let's continue with these pages. So there's been a lot of ad with the examples. There's been like a lot of example added to explain a little bit more about how things works. So let's take here card use limitation. Unless otherwise specified, a card can only be activated once per player turns and or enemy turns. Once a player activates a card during its turn, it is not possible to deliberately discard this card. This also applies to infinite effects that impact cards activated during the player's turn. The effect of a card apply only to enemies in play at the time the card is activated. Therefore, a player must not activate a card if they wish to discard it. To replace a card, it must first be discarded. So, uh, again, my English is not that good, but there's an example of the limitation that I think represent it perfectly. A player wish to replace the equipped item Amulet of Power with Ring of Vision. Amulet of Power provides +1 action point, bringing the total to the 3 action point required to equip Ring of Vision. However, since Amulet of Power must be discarded first, the player will no longer meet the requirement and will be unable to equip Ring of Vision. So I think that summarizes really well how the mechanics work. And yep, so let's move on. Nothing here really changed. That's just like the attack mechanics. So here is the combined attacks and elimination of an enemy. So here is an important information that needs to be understood. So when eliminating an enemy, the player may place the card that has now become an XP in their action point section. By doing so, they immediately obtain an additional action point. Depending on their available actions, the player may be able to perform an additional action. So this is really informative. So you will be able to place that here and continue to maybe perform other combos. And when I created the rule book at the very beginning, I thought that learning to do that was actually like, well, you play the game and eventually you understand that, oh damn, I can do that. But I feel now that I think it's more useful for players to understand that you can actually do that at the very beginning of the game. But yeah, that was just like my insight before I, when I created the game. After that, we've got some mechanics over here. Nothing really to explain here. The example here didn't change. Now we've got the classes. Nothing changed here. And finally, we've got something really important, which is the FAQ. So now there will be like some questions that will be available here. So I've tried to put the all the information that I had on the Board Game Geek FAQ available on the website, but not everything is there. There's still some FAQ missing from the uh, expansions. But yeah, I tried to put everything that I could here and added these QR code that you'll be able to scan to get to the latest FAQ that will now be on the Hellbringer website. So that's not there yet because I will be working on the website pretty soon just to prepare it for the new campaign launch. But yeah, so you'll be able to go there and check like the updated facts. So if there's ever like, I don't know, something that's breaking the game or a lot of questions that I keep receiving and I didn't thought of that, I'll be able to like keep an updated fact uh, and you guys will be able to just reach it with that QR code or this link, right? And now, something that you thought I would never had, which is the index. So I've decided to add an index. So I had one extra page that I could finally use. Well, actually, I've just removed the credits at the very end to add the index instead. So I think that's going to be much more useful than just thanking people for working on the game. Of course, that's not completely removed. That's been added to the camping booklet, so no worries there. If you ever worked on the any stuff of Elbringer. So after that, we've got the co-op rules that's been a little bit reworked here, especially for this little box over here. So respawn or resurrect. So I'm gonna read it to you. So on the eliminated player's turn, respawn will allow that player to play their turn immediately, but will cause all players to lose one attribute point. Resurrection is triggered by activating a card with the Resurrects icon. So this is new. There's a bunch of new icons that I've actually had into the game but didn't implant on the cards. So now that's all done and will allow the eliminated player to return to play at the end after the end of the enemy turns. This option prevents player from losing attribute points. So I'm trying to explain the difference between these and you know, try to inform players that you might want to wait a little bit, just maybe we'll find a potion, but if you want to come back and have a more impactful uh play into the game, you might want to respond directly, but that will impact, of course, your attribute points. And finally, this is the last page. So I'm going to remove this one. So the keywords are now at the very end of the rulebook. So you can see that all the information is over here. So that's pretty much it for the rulebook. Here, I'm just gonna. That was a copy, so perfect. Now I'm gonna jump on the different rulebook over here. Moving too fast, but yeah. All right. So let's jump with the loot and merchant. That's going to be pretty quick. That's just always 2 page. So you can see that they're expansion facts. So like I said, I can't put them there. There's too many information, but I've tried to, point out that there's a fact that will be available for all the expansion actually. So there's been a quite some change over here. So especially for the loot and merchant expansion, the others didn't quite get any change. So first, over here we've got a big change on the game setup. So you were preparing the town portal into the pile 2, 3, and 4, and the final one was actually shuffle into the huge common deck uh, that was left, and that was all for 1 card. So um, on tabletop simulator, I don't really care. I mean, it's pretty easy. You just press R and that shuffles. But in the physical copy, that was actually a mess to just shuffle this huge deck for 1 card. So I've decided to change it, and also I think that's much more useful now. So you will place the Town Portal card, the last one, on after a bunch of cards. So if you're playing 1 player, that's going to be after 8 cards, 2 player 10 cards, 12 or 14 for 4 players. So now you'll be sure to eventually find the last town portal. So I think that's pretty much useful. I don't know why I never thought about it first, but yeah, so I think that's going to be a huge change. So when, trying to get rid of the demon, you might finally get to the last town portal card if this extend too much. Right, and here there's not a big change except for this one over here. So there's a new rule on the shopping phase, and if you already have the game, well, you can just uh, apply it if you wish, because that's not a huge change. But I think that's a cool modification for the shopping phase, the merchant. So only once during the shopping phase, and only if no cards purchase has been completed, may the 3 reveal merchant card be discarded and 3 new cards revealed. So you can actually refresh the merchant if nothing interests you. And you can only do it once. And if you buy something, you won't be able to do uh, this uh, this option. So I think that's a cool stuff that's been added, because now you might have like six choice. Of course, you won't be able to get back to the tree that you saw before, but if there's like craps and you have a lot of gold, when that can be really useful. So that's pretty much the change for the loot and merchant expansion. Now for the quest and even. So honestly, I don't think that there's been like some change. You might notice over here that there's an additional keyword. So this keyword was actually added to the original rulebook, but there's no cards that use the accumulate keyword. So I've actually just decided to put it back into its own expansion rulebook. So that's pretty much all that's been changed here. Nothing really been added here. I'm trying to like just read it really fast, but yeah, nothing to cover here. And now, stuff that you might want to take a closer look. So here is the Bestiary and Forbidden Spells expansion. So uh, I'm gonna try to cover it a little bit deeper here because I think that this is what uh, will makes you love the game because you might already earn it, not earn it, but have it anyway. So the Bestiary and Forbidden Spells expansion adds more than 40 new enemies to the Bestiary. It includes two new classes, the Alchemist and the Necromancer, along with additional content. This expansion also introduced powerful new dice known as Dark Energy dice. So these are the black one over here. These combined with devastating new spells will help you, destroying your enemies. But at what cost? So there's a little twist. And of course, this is important. It's been added on pretty much everything now. So this expansion required both loot and merchant and quest and events to play. So here is loot and merchant. So you need, if you want to add the quest and event, you have to get the loot and merchant first. So the Necromancer. The Necromancer thrives at low health, channeling death itself to eliminate enemies. Vulnerable yet dangerous, this class uses undead companions to mitigate damage. So his specialties will be companions and dark energy dice. And finally, we've got the Alchemist. Bend the battle to your will by supporting yourself and your allies. The Alchemist turns darkness into light and unleash fury upon the servants of hell. His specialties is potions and support. So here's the additional type of die, which is the dark energy die. So this will do massive damage. So there's no miss chance. So this will be 3 chance to deal 5 damage, 2 to deal 10, and 1 to deal 15 damage. So the total damage can be pretty high. We've got the game setup. So what's gonna be added is actually an elite monster cards. So I'm gonna show you a bit later. I know I've already showed quite some stuff on the previous video, but you know, I'm just gonna wrap it up here. So during setup 2 of the setup creation of the monster draw pile, shuffle and place the elite monster cards to the left of the enemy board to create the elite monster pile. During step 4 of blah blah blah, the elite combat card is placed according to the instructions below. So you will place over here on the pile number 3 an elite monster card, and you will shuffle it. So when you will actually draw this card, it will activate the elite combat phase. So what are actually elite monsters? So stronger than a monster but weaker than a demon. An elite monster must be defeated in order to continue dungeon exploration. When eliminated, its card becomes an attribute points, and all players draw 1 loot and 1 merchant card. So that's like the reward to kill a very strong enemy. So, and that will also pause the dungeon exploration. So you'll see when I explain the elite combat phase. So I'll start right there. When an elite monster card, combat card, pardon, is drawn, the elite combat phase is activated. All enemies in play or entering play are placed under the elite monster card. Instant effect of enemies entering play are applied, then the enemies are immediately considered out of play during the elite combat phase. 1. Draw, without looking, 20 cards from under the common draw pile to create a new pile. Place the elite combat phase token on the common draw pile to indicate that no more cards should be drawn from this pile. So you will place this little token on top of the cards here, so that will prevent you to draw cards from this pile here, and you will now draw cards from the 20 cards that you've created. When a player eliminates the elite monster, they gain the card, which become an attribute point, just like a regular monster. All players in play draw one loot card and one merchant card. Finally, all enemies under the elite monster are returned to play. Their instant effect are not reapplied. So this is really important because now some monsters are gonna have some instant effect. So they won't be reapplied because that would be way too powerful. And finally, the remaining cards from the new common draw pile and the common discard pile all shuffled together to form the common discard pile. So every card that had the 20 cards pile, the new common draw pile, are now all shuffled together to create the discard pile. So maybe if you have the looter or some cards to get back some discarded cards, might be useful now because you will have some new stuff to go pick. The Elite Combat Phase token is removed from the original common draw pile, and the game continue as normal. So that will really be like a pause. We fight, and then we go back into the dungeon exploration. So that sums up pretty much everything about the new expansion. You can see the elite monster here, and I'm gonna show you the elite monster. So we've got the butcher. So this is a big wing to, of course, Diablo. We've got a Balrog. Again, this is, if you remember, the original Diablo, there were a bunch of these into the hell section. We've got a Kraken. We've got a Tyras, which is from D&D. That looks like an Ultralisk from StarCraft. And this is intended because I love this game. And finally, we've got an Hydra. So all these are the 5 monsters, the elite monster that you might be fighting. Also, I wanted to, show you a little bit more about the alchemist and the necromancer, and just to show you that all the class now have one new starter card. So I've talked about before, so just to make a quick view, because these are pretty important, because while I'll be playing, you might wonder like, hey, he's got new cards here. So you've got the Warrior's Battle Cry, so that's going to give you a little bit more damage for each 30 health that you have. So this is a pretty strong cards to have. We've got the Hunter's Crystal Arrow, which is pretty not identical to the that was actually the Ice Arrow, but this one stacked with the number of perception that you have. Here's the Sorcerer's Flame. This one is pretty special and unique. You will have to have 5 learn skills and on your character to actually use it. The Paladin Sword and Shield. So this is again pretty unique. You will have a sword and shield because this is both handed. So you have the red and the green point of connection, and that's gonna give you 10 armor and 3 damage. So that's pretty cool to start with. That we've got the Monk's Gift, which is again pretty unique. You may reactivate a skill learn of the monk only, again during the same turn. So you might be able to use twice Monk Strike. This is really cool. Or other any cards from the monk. So you can create like very cool combo here. And finally, we got the Druid Cycle. So that's gonna give a +10 health to all your companions in play. This here. Uh, I've been playing like so many games, and the Druid's companions suck. They've been killed always for no reason. Like there were like 3 or 4 monster rolling the dice, and just like, all right, so all my companions are gone. So I've tried to add some stuff that, of course, I've been seeing into the game, but also like some feedback that player told me, like, hey, your companion sucks because I can't keep them. So here is might be one of the solution for the druid. And now, the alchemist. So the alchemist. Of course, they will all have now 3 starter cards. So the alchemist will start with the alchemist knife. This is a green point of connection. So that will do some cool damage and give more armor. And we've got some stuff over here. So the text is a little bit more longer, but overall, when you activate the alchemist explosive potion or even the combustion, this card will go to the temp zone. So there was like a temporary zone section on your player board, and now that's going to be placed here. And at when the alchemist takes no, the alchemist will take this card back in his hand at the end of their turn. So you're gonna place it there, that's gonna sleep there, and eventually you'll get it back into your hand, and that's at the end of your turn. So that means you'll get back to like your 6 cards, because that's a total of 6, and after that you're gonna add this one for a 7 card or 8 card. So you'll be able to go slower into the dungeon with that. So that's just like damage. And here is something that is quite unique to the alchemist, and you'll see when I like do some play with it. What it does is that you will place this card on an enemy, and when you target this enemy, you will add 2 damage to the next attack of the player that is targeting this enemy. So what it means is that after that, you'll get back, of course, the elixir of combustion. So you can delay damage, add damage when it's not your turn to other enemies. And this is not the only time that you'll be able to perform that with the alchemist. So the concept of doing something when it's not your turn is going to be represented here by the alchemist. And we've got the 3 perks from the alchemist. So the first one is research scientist, search scientist. That's weird, but anyway, I think that should be like scientist research. But anyway, let me know in the comment if that's written correctly. +1 under the common draw pile for each potion in your hand. So that can be really, really useful. The more potion you'll have in your hand, the more cards you will draw under the common draw pile. Here is unstable concoction. So the alchemist will destroy 1 attribute point to pick 1 potion from the common draw pile. So you can select any. And finally, precise operation. So you will be able to apply the effect of a potion again during the same turn, but you will have to remove this potion from the game once the effect has been activated. So you might be able to, just for example, use Potion of Fury twice. So this will be very, very useful. Right, that's it for the Alchemist. Oh, it's getting smaller, but I will reload anyway. Right, so here is the wrong order here. Now the Necromancer. So the Necromancer starter cards are the Necromancer's Banshee. So that's gonna do a total of 2 black die. So this creature ignore your companion limit in play. So that's pretty much, you're gonna see that that's like a mix between druid, sorcerer, and the complete puzzle of a warrior. so so yeah, so you have the banshee that doesn't care about your companion's limit. You've got the Necromancer's Undead. So this card is pretty cool. So the cards will return into the end of the Necromancer when eliminated. So this is really, really nice. So you can actually place your Necromancer's Undead on another player, and then he dies, and then he get back to your hand, and then you can use it again. And I've seen like the trees quite far, so I'm gonna have to fix that. Just gonna take a little note here. Undead. Too far. This that won't be long. I'll just take notes. Simple. What did I saw there? Don't remember. But anyway, I'll have to watch my video again to notice a bunch of stuff. Oh, that's it. So always spotting stuff when presenting the game. Necromancer's Sight. So this is a powerful tool for the Necromancer that will add more armor point and damage if you have less than 35 health. So this here is what I was talking to you about, the complete opposite of the warrior. So you have to have less than 35 health so you can do more damage. So you have to go to armor point if you want to get a little bit more tankier, or at least just survive. So you can really notice here he's got 20 health and 5 armors. This is the lowest point, the lowest amount that you can get from any class. And for the perk, you have the Reanimate. So when a companion is eliminated, this is a collect. This is the new icon for collect. This companion in your hand, so you're getting it back. Bone Shell, so that's plus 20 armor point for each companion in play until the start of your next turn. So this could be more like Guardian Spirit from the Sorcerer, which is referring to the number of skills he have. So that's pretty identical. So let's say that, I don't know, you've got a Necromancer and a Druid. You might have like a lot of companion in play, and that might be very helpful. And finally, we've got Rotten Companion. So that's give a total of plus 10 health to all your companions. And when one is eliminated, place this companion in your XP point. So it becomes an XP. So let's say that, I don't know, you're placing a Banshee and it's been eliminated. You will be able to take it and just upgrade yourself and maybe survive to whatever will happen. So that's pretty much it for the new class. So now I'm gonna actually set up the game and play one, but I think I'm just gonna cut the video. That's gonna be like two video back to back, just so you know the explanation is here, and after that the game continues. So I'll just stop recording and do my little outro, and I'll get back in like a few seconds to play a game with you and show you all maybe some new monsters, some new cards, and stuff like that. So stay tuned.